Lakesh Veritas.
LaOta and Tarvars, how are you today?
I'm doing great.
I hope our audience is doing well too today.
Make sure the Frohawk is yeah.
It's
Is the
all
Frohawk
good.
looking good? Okay,
Yeah, it's
thank
all
you.
good.
'Cause
It's all good.
cool. You look good.
Thank you. Black and white.
Yeah, chill. We got the white memo today.
I know. I know. I was like, yeah, you're wearing a white shirt,
It's
and
like
I'm
yeah.
wearing a white shirt.
It started off black shirt, but then this just felt right.
I think it's good.
Cool. Well,
So,
we're gonna be here talking. Welcome everyone, Lakesh and Veritas of the Sun live stream. We're gonna be talking today about getting clear answers, specifically from your biology. To get clear information, you must be clear. Answers exist within you. LaOta teaches a class, has been doing this for decades. Sun Calibration, how to get yes and no information from your biology. But again, to get clear signals, you got to be clear. And we're going to be touching on many different ideas regarding this because the time that we're in requires us to get insight and information from within ourselves, where everything is really working in our favor to pull back the authority that we've placed on institutions, government, leaders, etc., externalized leaders, and go within. And these classes, which is this is typical with us, all of our classes are geared towards helping people find the answers, being sovereign, being free, where you can get your information. Where yes, it's nice to be able to work with others to gain clarity. Oh, what you getting on this psychically, spiritually? What's your intuition and your guidance saying? Well, what's your intuition and guidance saying? We can ping off of each other to find the truth, but ultimately it does exist within you. So that's going to be our focus in how Sun Calibration and the Energy Hygiene 101 class, those two combined can assist with really going hand in hand, supporting each other and sustaining an energy hygiene lifestyle where, again, you are free, you are sovereign, and you are living in the answers.
yes.
So, any initial thoughts on that before we go into deep into our announcements?
I was just thinking we live in a time where what is currently shared is that there's false news, but in the other days they said you could be bamboozled, you could be,
Yeah.
you could be tricked. All of this exists in the reality, and it has always existed, but it's paramount to us now to be able to identify what is in our best and highest interest when we're in the grocery store, when we're in the liquor store, when we're in a place where there's other people and people are attracted to you. We do need to know what is in our best interest. And there are many layers of understandings that can help us remove impediments to us getting the truth or to being alerted that, okay, well, that was then, but this is now. Like
Mm,
that was fine 5 years ago, but that's not fine now.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
No, this brings up so many thoughts, but I'm gonna hold them because you know how it is. Just jump straight into the podcast. You all are probably like, yeah, jump straight in, jump straight in. So we're gonna give you some announcements really quick. So again, we are moving into what we are in the month of August. I'm still like, oh man, it's accelerated time, consciousness, space. This thing is moving. And so we got to get on board with it. But in the month of August, we are holding LaOta's Sun Calibration class, Living Within the Answers. This class is geared towards receiving clear yes and no information from your biology. This is not necessarily intuitive and being psychic. No, this is body. Show me yes, show me no, and how to curate questions to get clear yes and no information. So there is some intersectionality with energy hygiene where you teach the students how to clear themselves to receive truth, from the biology, but initially to move into relationship with your body. We're always getting responses from our bodies as humans, like, all right, as we're eating, okay, I think I'm full now. It's enough's enough. But like some people don't even hear it. It's like, no, the way this food is hitting, the taste buds are firing up, the signal is not strong. So it's within that realm of understanding. But again, through the binary of yes and no, none of that fuzzy in between stuff.
Yes, I think that those examples of like eating, and it's the same way in the romantic relationship or in a friendly relationship, or when how many conversations you have when the person says, I knew it, but I did it anyway.
Oh, yeah, many.
So we have to cultivate the desire to want the truth and then to want to move out on the truth in our own behalf. That we have to, if we expect that someone else will assist us, that's part of that greater dynamic. Are we willing to help ourselves? And then does that create an energy field where others will be in support of us also? Are we willing to, go the way that is not in our best interest, and then we think that everyone else will have our best interest at heart? That's a incongruent thought.
I'm just gonna jump into something that's coming forth. I can't contain myself, and I'm unwilling to contain myself right now. I'm just gonna jump a little bit into this, but I was thinking of how, because I made a little video which I'm gonna drop at some point. How you gotta want the truth when we are seeking truth or calibrating, getting information from the body. You must be in the appropriate disposition to want the truth.
Yes,
Otherwise, you're gonna get the lie, and that's what
absolutely.
allows things to elude us. When you were giving the example, how many times have we looked back in hindsight like, "Man, I should have done such and such," and recall hearing it, but push it down, like, "No, no, I'm just gonna," and
Or
it's with so many
yeah,
different
it
things.
is. It's not it's that way. It's also with the desire to be culturally engaged with everyone else. With
Mm,
everyone else has got tattoos and piercings. I want them too, even if I realize I'll be interfering with my acupuncture channels
yeah.
to be healed. But this, is the signal saying, punch those holes in all those places, put those, and it's not that it is intrinsically incorrect, but are you being motivated to do something through truth or through wanting to be part of what everybody else is doing?
That's so key because the gravitational pull of society is so strong, and being able to discern, is this my intention, is this really what I want to do, or am I being pulled, and like how that pull can override the voice of truth for you.
And are there other ways to appear to have that? Is there jewelry that looks like piercing? Is there other ways to protect and love yourself enough? And yes, it's accepted by everyone, and people don't want to hear that who have piercings.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to hear that you have your acupuncture channels now have holes in them, and they can close back up, and you can repair this. But do you even love yourself enough to feel that it's a necessary thing to spend your time and energy on? People don't want to hear that.
No, it's calling out the stark incongruence and compartmentalization.
With so
So,
many things, the flaming hot Cheetos, they're
oh
not
gosh,
actually
look,
food, but
if you are tuned into the Of the Sun live stream or listen to Call for the Truth and you're eating flaming hot Cheetos, there's no judgment, but we'd encourage reconsider.
just know it's not food.
It's
That
not.
it's really not even about it. Food has changed a great deal. I've written books about food and decades ago that no longer apply to the circumstance we find ourselves
Yeah,
in.
things have changed. They don't make it
So
like they
those
used
books
to.
are out of print, and that time will never come back again. However, at this point, it's really not even about which food. It's that would you eat food? Can we just choose to eat that which is actually food? That's the bigger issue. What is processed is no longer food.
And then there's things that supposedly look like food, but it's masquerading. So there's a whole nother layer that
Oh
we're
yeah, there's all kinds of
confronted with.
food and drag.
Yeah, food and drag, bro. Like that 3D print is like, look at me, I'm meat. It's like, look, it's looking like you can buy this from Toys R Us or something, you know?
So
It's
even at the
Play-Doh.
very most basic level, being able to get the signal so that you can be in your own truth. You are free to choose in the free choice universe, but sometimes we don't. We're not even aware. Some people think that Cheetos are food. Some people think that 3D printed meat is somehow meat, but it isn't, and it's not so much that you shouldn't be free to do it or to enjoy whatever it is. It's that you have the opportunity to strengthen yourself by being the truth of who you are, by adding things that are true to you.
I'm gonna
And the
elaborate.
signal just is really coming up. It's not coming up to slap the thing out of your hand.
Oh, no. It is extremely subtle
Yeah.
in respect of, that ego will drive and, like, you gotta work to what you say? Got louder, please?
Well, and there's the desire to want to know what will keep you healthy, what will keep you strong, what will keep you beautiful, what is it that will move you, into what so that you can find what your destiny is and what your purpose is. Can you find that in the lie?
No, you can't, and I was thinking about something as it relates to this is our lifestyle, and there's constant exploration about, like, what is it that we're doing, and going deeper and deeper into what it means to be the truth. And I've been perceiving truth as a source of fuel. You often teach that the biology was established in truth, and, like, okay, what does that mean? If in the sense of a thing designed with a certain type of nature needs more of itself in order to exist, to thrive, to grow. And so, if my body is established in truth, that means I need more truth, which may look like food that is in its true state, not heavily processed, thoughts, emotions that are established in truth that would make me stronger, make my cells stronger, all of these wonderful things that the lie cannot do that for me.
Yeah. The
Genie.
vegan coat won't do it.
Vegan, nope,
the,
nope.
the new word for plastic, which is vegan, that's the new word. Like, how
Vegan,
about how about these vegan purses and these vegan bags and vegan luggage and things like that.
vegan is such a psyop.
So it's less about the reality that we see that creation is in accord with, which is animals and interaction through the network of Mother Earth and how things happen. It is more true to say, instead of us deciding that we think that the way nature is behaving is inappropriate, it may be better if we lean into the network and see, what do we get? Are we strengthened from the relationship with all the animals and things in creation that exist in purpose
Mm,
for to interact with us in whatever way that is?
that's very unique. Well, not even so much unique, but that requires a stretch. That requires, again, so much that I see is, do I have the desire and the will to even pursue it? Can I see the value in moving deeper into a connection with the network?
Well,
Uh,
this is what I will say for sure. If you do not have the desire for the truth, it will not come up to you and aggress you. It will not throw you down
truth's
on the
not going.
on the ground, on the concrete, and wrestle, fake stuff out of your hands.
It's funny though, because humans, we operate that way with the truth. We try to smack people around with it,
Yeah.
spank people with it.
as
Like,
as if it were a static thing, because it the nature of truth is that it is always expanding and it's always growing, and it is not necessarily the truth you knew when you were 3 when you're 30. It's because the truth expands because there are many elements in it.
yes, I had a thought of how often people's experience with truth is this world-shattering experience, and again, I'm often looking at, why are we interfacing this way? Why is our perception of the truth such a thing like this? Why do we have coined terms and cliches of the truth hurts? The truth will piss you off, or truth will set you free. Dot dot. But first, it'll piss you off, right? And I see and I'd like to get your thoughts on this. It's predominantly our adherence to the lie. Like, we're holding on so tightly to what is not true, that once the truth come in, it's like, oh gosh,
Stabilized. I can be more grounded. I can have more impact in my world because the lies are running rampant out here. They don't seem to be affecting much of anything in and of themselves, but the wave of them affects our children. The wave of it affects how the elders feel. The wave of it affects what I think I want to look like and represent myself to be.
yeah.
So is that the truth? one of the easy things to do is to spend time in nature to acclimate yourself to what does it feel like to sit on the ground or to stand barefoot or to be in the rain or to touch a tree. These are all things that will help you stabilize and, oh, this is the real,
Mm,
and Technicolor is the made up. Color is the real. Technicolor is a company.
yeah, it's mimicry at
Yeah.
best, for the real. So, it's a little appetizer sampler for you. We haven't even fully jumped into the podcast, but we see a couple of you are chiming in the chat. So, Nikesh, everyone, welcome, welcome again. We're talking about keeping yourself clear, or specifically learning how to hear the signal from our guidance, amplifying that signal by way of clearing ourselves and looking at how this plays out in so many different areas of our experience. And before we dive any deeper, just a couple of announcements. So, LaOta's upcoming class for Sun Calibration to Live in the Answers, it is the second Tuesday next week. Tuesday, the next 3 Tuesdays, second, third, and fourth Tuesday, 6 p.m. to 7:30 p.m. Eastern. And this is a entry level class. So for anyone who's looking to learn what we're teaching, where you can live in the answers, ask yes or no questions with all aspects of your life, which I'm feeling prompted to share some of like the early stories that I have of learning this modality via the sun through you, and how it completely shifted my life. And like when you start building that courage and trust in your biology, you can start making larger, life changing decisions that are free of the outside authority, where you trust what's inside of you. So this is coming up next week, and then that same week on Thursday, second, third, and fourth Thursday, we have Energy Hygiene one-on-one class. I'll be teaching introductory into incorporating an energy hygiene lifestyle to keep yourself clear, elevated, and sovereign in a world that's ever transforming and requires clearing. And so, again, the very foundational introductory class, going deeper into many of the other sun clearing practices that we give for free, which, if you go to the home page, you'll find in the meditation section on the top tab, there's a variety of evolutionary practices that are just out the gate. You can engage with learning to clean and clear yourself. We have different podcasts and live streams speaking on the energy clearing practices. And again, we're going deeper into some of the laws and the principles that support the power behind what we're doing. Because once you start realizing the power of clearing yourself, you realize that you can start raising up the field around you. Because you become more clear and coherent, your light can shine, can radiate, therefore influencing others around you. Where it flips the polarity of I got to control and make them do something. No, let me control me, let me clear me, and my coherency will inform the others around me or the field to make it coherent. So we're gonna have a good time. This you got some thoughts on this? I feel like you may have had
I think
something.
the side effect of energy hygiene is having clearer answers.
Yeah,
So it's relevant that there has to be something more going on in your life than you go to sleep and then you get up. Then you eat the same things that are being contaminated over and over and over again, and then you think that you're good. There's more to it than that. There's a responsibility that the more you understand about the contamination in our field on the earth plane, the more you will be willing to do to get the truth and then clear yourself to be the truth. So there are two hand in hand modalities.
most certainly. I thought of an interesting analogy. Do we use the same dish meal after meal without cleaning it?
Yeah.
But life, I think life is not think. I have seen that life is a lot like that. When we do not clear ourselves, it is very much akin to I had this meal for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. There's remnants on it. Maybe you ate up, you ate, as they say. You cleaned the plate, but there's still remnants from the last meal, and then you just keep building on top of that, building on top of that, and then the next day it sits out, and then things happen, bacteria and other things gather, and then you just place new food on top. And it's very much like that, where our fields are dealing with levels of accumulation that requires the daily cleaning, just like the physical biology
It's
or the
so
dish.
it's so funny because in that analogy, I see that if we take that analogy, the way people think about it is it's like, well, I hate bacteria, but you don't have to hate bacteria. You can just make sure that everything is clean and tidy. which is part of the blueprint. There is no animal that is not constantly cleaning and clearing itself. We should take a hint from that, that this is physical reality, and physical reality requires cleaning.
Yeah,
And
this
that
is
we don't have to be angry that microbes exist. We
yeah.
have to be enthusiastically wanting to be clean enough that we can coexist with them.
So this is such a fascinating path to take because it flips the polarity on how we perceive it. You know, there that it's not just an analogy; it's a reality. People have like insects and other life forms um, at varying levels, things that rise to the level of infestation and not so much. But the reality is that there is something that has invited them in, just like the manipulators and parasitic people in relationships in your life. There's something that we have done to signal to invite them in, and we must do what's necessary to flip the polarity where there's not necessarily the invitation or you know again I even look at the biology where things like cancer sickness and illness, it's not so much that it's bad. What is it signaling to us? And like,
Oh, yeah.
so maybe we need to change our food lifestyle, or maybe stop leaving food out for insects and things to come forth, or etc etc. It's just, again, there's, for every action there's an equal opposite reaction.
It's so interesting. We could talk more about the biology of something like a cancer, which really is a disconnected part of the whole that has disconnected. And in its disconnection, it then becomes parasitic. It leaves the idea of sacred symbiosis and then becomes parasitic. And then it gathers other things through the lack of oxygen and the things that happen around it to make those things grow. That is the truth of all things. But sometimes there's a disconnection that happens because it's not being nourished properly, or it's not getting enough laughter, or it's not getting enough of the hormones.
Hmm.
And having had cancer, I know for sure that if I had been happier during the time when I got it, I wouldn't have gotten it because it doesn't come to happiness.
That's right.
It doesn't live in joy. It is the body lives in joy, and the part that doesn't separates itself, and then it loses connection to the network, and then it becomes a detriment to the network, and this is true of all disease. So the greater idea is to be the truth of the blueprint, which is not unhappy, it's joyful.
Yeah.
So I think if that resonates, that would be good.
If that resonates, is it good? Let us know. It's good. It resonates. Something to just give us some confirmation. So again, these links are in the description, and be sure to tune into some of the free things that we're doing every week. There are free classes, sessions, live streams. Mondays, Flowers and Frequencies with Lauren. Wednesday, yesterday, working with mudras and the light body with Diane. And this upcoming Friday, she's going to have Evolutionary Book Club, 7 p.m. Eastern. The Subconscious Speaks. This is a book that's focused on explaining the subconscious from the perspective of these, in the voice of the subconscious itself, to help you get on board with your technology. So that's going to be great because that's a staple, foundational staple within Of a Sun recommended reading. Second, third Friday, Divine Nation card pull, working with the Call for the Truth Divination cards here that we usually use in our podcast and live streams. And then the fourth Friday, we'll have Quantum Light Property Clearing Chronicles, which is stories and understandings surrounding the power of the modality of clearing properties non locally. And so that essentially concludes the announcement. So, actually, we're stay in the loop with us because we're looking to do pop up meditations. Likely in the next 2 weeks in the local Atlanta area. It's going to be focused on grounding, connecting with the earth. Again, the idea of the network. And so if you are in the Atlanta area, or you, some people fly in to see us. They're like, I'm here, I'm there, I'll be there, I got my ticket. So, we're looking to do this more frequently, and we'll make sure we have some definitive dates. So stay tuned. And also, if you're not subscribed to the newsletter, visit the website, um, plug in your email in the contact area to subscribe. That way you can stay in the loop for any additional updates, or keep coming here. We're always telling you all what's happening, and subscribe, hit the little bell notification to stay in the loop. So again, welcome everyone. the Sun live stream. And again, we're talking about the biology,
Yes.
getting yes and no information from your body. I want to chime in really quick to some of the people who are in the chat because some of them are saying relevant things. In Lakesh and Veritas to everyone who's making yourself known. We have a comment. Gina says, I'm coming for Sun Calibration. Excited for the opportunity and experience. Signal heard and felt. I know that's right. So we got
Yay.
someone who's looking to take the class. And even for anyone who has taken it and you're looking to brush up on that, jump into the party. You can always refine this because again, this is something that we haven't quite had a strong relationship with, and you gotta take your body out for coffee regularly, movie dates,
Yeah. Yes. It's a love
get
affair.
familiar, right?
Yeah, it's a love affair. Like, start using your technology. You were given this body, you don't know how to use it. Let's show it a little love and start using that tech.
Well, certainly. So, Lauta, we are in a time where the what seems like authorities, talking heads, the educational system, social media, talking heads, the government, they are losing their credibility rapidly. It has
Mhm.
been rapidly plummeting like stock, going down, down, down until it's positioning us in a space where I can't trust them. Oh my gosh, it looks like I can't trust any of you guys. Nothing is real, nothing's true. But just as we were saying on the front end of our conversation of the podcast, that what does this mean? Just like the insects, what is or the cancer in the body, what is this showing about us that needs to change? What is this looking to bring out of us? So would you speak a little bit more about this idea of becoming the authority? Like what's the benefit? What's the value? Because people are
Well,
often like, what's in it for me to do this?
if you were to ask what's in it for you, it's everything. Um, just as the body was established in truth, this landmass and this system of authority was not. It didn't start now because we're noticing. Our parents didn't notice, and their parents didn't notice, and their parents didn't notice. But this is a long plan of distortion and making us believe things that are not true about ourselves and about others, or the very basis of which the systems that we operate in exist. With the ability to, once you understand that, the ability to discern what's going on is easier. Part of the issue with discerning the truth is our preconceived ideas and our biases. If we think, well, that's the person who would never not tell me the truth, or but they may be deluded because they believe in something that's not true that their parents believed that their parents believed. So we find ourselves in that
Hmm.
moment, and it's easy to work from things like you're asking your body, is it in my best and highest interest to eat this tomato that the animals won't eat? The insects don't, they don't want it. Should I be eating that? It's easier to work from that than the larger construct of falsehood that we all exist in. That the whole, it's a global situation, but it's also local. And it's not only local, it's national, and it's in every single system. Every single system has been designed to make you not be able to discern the truth, to confuse you about, I can remember years ago when the educational system decided that ketchup was a vegetable.
Yeah, that's wild work right there.
and
That's
and
wild.
and now I don't know, this is decades later. I don't know if children grow up thinking bottles of ketchup grow in the
Yeah,
garden or not.
it's on the food pyramid. A bottle of ketchup.
But this is a ridiculous example, but everything is actually equally as much of a farce.
Lots of that's not that ridiculous because not so recent we discussed how cereal was being promoted as a healthy alternative, especially for people who were like low income and finding challenges with feeding their families, and they were promoting cereal very hard. Like, well,
Yes.
cereal is actually nutritious. You could have this breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
Yes, and then when you see all the people who came from Europe, especially from England, and heard what they say they eat for breakfast and how much they love chicken and waffles and they love all the extra drinks and they love having all the chips and all the bread for free that comes on the nachos that come
Mhm.
and the breads that come, and they are eating beans and toast because beans have almost all of the amino acids, and when you combine it with toast, you have a complete protein. And it doesn't sound as interesting, but they have grown a nation that has conquered the world.
Yeah, beans and toast. Take all those seasonings, but no seasoning on those beans and toast.
I'm not I'm not really like promoting it.
Yeah,
I'm saying
I
it to
know.
say that that has much more nutritional benefit
True, yeah.
than a bowl of cornflakes,
Yeah,
which rats won't even eat the corn anymore, but we do. Our people do.
yeah.
So there is this grave confusion about what tastes good and what we have appetite for, and then what is for us.
This
You know,
actually this jumps a bit ahead of some of the questions I wanted to pose, but this idea of the difference between the signal and what's noise. And when we think about what's triggering our response or what has hijacked our choices, it's like noise from the chemicals of the food, and then it becomes part of our chemistry, and then we end up craving it, and it's artificial. It's not the truth, but it's become part of us, so it's influencing the signal or overriding it. Would you speak a little bit more about that?
it's so interesting because in health, it is so everyone is so individual. What you have been eating determines what you can eat and what you cannot eat. So something that would appear to be healthy, like a piece of fruit or a fresh vegetable, could actually hurt someone who's been eating because they live in a food desert. They've been eating only things from 7-Eleven or a place that doesn't have anything fresh. Now they're so full of the chemicals in the plastic that the value and the power of a piece of fresh fruit or a fresh vegetable starts to disrupt their whole system, and then they could have very disruptive body responses from the brain to the colon. So we're in a different environment based on what we've been eating. So what is recommended is that people slowly move through whatever you've been eating, start moving into things that will be actually nutritious. And then you'll notice you don't have a taste for the chemicals anymore.
Yeah.
I can remember probably 25 years ago, I stopped eating fast food, and I remember the very last time I went into a fast food place, and I had already stopped eating burgers, but I would eat the salad. And I remember smelling it, it smelled like chemicals and it smelled like formaldehyde. It was the lettuce.
Mhm.
And that was the last time I smelled that. But it was, because here it's masquerading as lettuce,
Yeah.
but it was embalming me.
Lettuce and drag.
Yes. It was like embalming me as the preservatives embalm us before we lay down. So
Mhm.
the bodies don't even decompose appropriately because they're preserved. So you're preserved all the way until you fall over. And
Yeah.
then you don't properly decompose to return to the earth because you're full of plastics and preservatives and chemicals. And all of this is an unsavory thought, but it's a reality. You need to decompose. You need to be able to eat something that is from nature. You need to be able to pull something off of a tree and eat it and it not take you into the emergency room. That needs to happen.
Want to speak on that a little bit more, and this is one of the reasons why it's so important for people to learn what's right and correct for them. Many people who pursue
It's very
vegetarian,
specific. Yeah.
vegan, health conscious lifestyle, we start feeling ourselves and want to heal other people, and it's like this blanket type of healing where just get alkaline and just eat fruits, just go on a juice cleanse, or just do this and that and detox. And like, I was one of those people who lacked understanding. It was like an immature adolescent understanding of health and healing, and really the power of food, like real food itself, and how it's akin to light combusting through the darkness through the medium of food.
It is light.
Yes. Yeah.
combusting. Yes.
Yeah, through the medium of through the body, through the medium of food.
Mhm.
And so, yes, exactly, like sun, photosynthesis, all that good stuff, right? It's contained. And I've experienced this within myself, and I've also witnessed this where other people have that. I'm going to call it zealous because it is this where you're not really considering the person. It's really like you wanting to position yourself as the authority and the praise of being the healer. And I've seen also from another perspective, literally people take themselves out with food, due to the high levels of toxicity and not checking how much of this living food should they would be in their best and highest interest to eat based on where they find themselves. And I understand this is what you teach. This is what I have personally learned to do, which helps me even in what seems like an extreme lifestyle of liquid, but I'm still checking how much of this is in my best and highest interest. And sometimes it can't just be clear. I got to go back to like semi thick, like or thicker purees and soups and things like that, based on what the body needs.
It's very true, and there's so much of we're talking about a subject where things have been demonized. So I hear people say, "Well, I don't want to eat anything fresh because it'll have parasites." It's like you're full of parasites
Look, if you
already,
got an animal,
and
you got parasites.
and but it's more the idea that there is a level where things can operate. You can live in the house, you can eat the foods that are symbiotic if you're at the right frequency and the food is at the right frequency. Here comes your class
Yeah,
on energy hygiene. If you can, and you could speak to your food and raise the frequency of your food so that it can be compatible. But you may have to ask your body, like, I've raised the frequency of this food. Body, can you handle that?
yeah.
Because I might need to raise the frequency of my body to be able to meet and match the health and vitality that's waiting for me in this divine exchange. And that's not well understood. People don't
No,
think about that. They just really want the result, but the result is not the result if it is not if you are not considering the body, the technology, what the body actually wants. The body is intelligent, it is conscious, and it has free will, and it has decided to be of service to you. Wouldn't it be wonderful if we decided to be of service to it?
it would be. And you said it. It's one mine. I was thinking as I'm hearing you speak, one of the core undercurrents in this conversation is consideration. However we look at it, consideration for the self, consideration for your client, who you're working with, who you're introducing information to help change lives and lifestyles. Like we must consider, and when we're not, like things can go awry, as
It's
they clearly have.
It's so funny. I rarely talk to anyone who doesn't think that they're already doing great with their food. You know, whether they, however they calculate it. So they're like, I eat, good once a week or whatever, or that key lime pie is as good for me as anything else, or, I only drink party liquor. I only need those brain cells that the party liquor gets rid of.
Yeah, it's only one glass,
Yes. So there is most people really have uh, they really do not have a even understanding of what they actually are doing in the scheme of things because not enough information has been taught. Doctors don't learn about nutrition, and the nutritionists are owned by the Kellogg's Corporation. That's who has the nutrition schools. That's who has
Yeah,
the so we don't know these things. There are some healers that have been in our experience that do know and understand some natural herbalists like like Dr. Sabi and others who are forerunners and contemporaries of that who did, and I studied all of them, and that's where I gained understanding. I didn't gain it in university. I gained it from listening to those who were closer to the herb, who spoke directly
hmm,
to the herbs, who Dr. Sabi traveled all over the world reaching for the things that have the most power.
yeah.
And
It was
those are
about that electricity.
yeah, it was.
Yeah,
You know,
to animate the body, and this is one of the things we often talk about uh, to assist people with re-identifying or shifting the identity or the perception of what the body is, what food is, and like that little shift. For me personally, the electric part. Like people talk about alkalinity, but like What's really happening is like we want food that will allow the current of the signal to inform. And I saw like once I locked in like that, it's like, oh my gosh, I am technology. The more electric foods that I eat, the actually the greater and the clearer the signal can be.
Yes, but what you eat may not be what is appropriate for another person to eat, and there lies the calibration.
True.
Living in the answers is that glass of juice right for me in this moment, or is it going to make me have to stay home for 3
Yeah,
days?
in this moment, because like it might, and that's actually something that's so specific. Calibration is so nuanced because it's all in how you prompt the question. It's just like AI. And this is why I'm always talking about how the technology mimic us. Because through the years of working with Sun Calibration, I've seen like, oh my gosh, if you are not asking the right questions, you will not get the appropriate response. And so it is very much like that, where we are asking questions, and you all have heard the language. Is it in my best and highest interest? And best and highest interest, there's not enough room for gray area. Like best, highest interest, like we're talking, give me that from the top shelf. What is the best choice in this moment that's going to lead me in the greatest excitement, greatest trajectory? That doesn't really leave room for a lot of other things.
And it's funny because when I'm doing this on private consults with people, they say, yes, but I really like, pork chops. And I'm like, okay. I really want
Right.
to eat those pork chops. I said, have you considered anything else? As well, I really like chicken. I'm like, so it may not be in your best and highest interest, but it is acceptable for you to give yourself that since you want it occasionally.
If you can find it.
Well, if you can
If
find
you
a
can
real
find real
chicken.
chicken. We're not against meat, but if you can find the real thing.
And what happens is that we have to define all the terms. What does occasionally look like?
Yeah.
And what can your body tolerate? And what is your goal? It's not my goal, it's your goal. What is your goal? Do you want to be disease free, or you want to be, you want to look a certain way? So all of these things. Would you like to look like your blueprint, which was divine? Or would you like to look like whatever is happening on TikTok? You, you know, put on your lashes and draw on your eyebrows, like.
In the bed with your bonnet.
So all of this matters, and it's all relevant. But if once you learn the skill set and once you learn how to ask the questions, then you are free to pursue it. And I want to mention too that we are the father, the ancestor of AI, and we should not forget it. So yeah, it has, you have to ask it real specific
Yeah.
because it comes from a lineage where you got to be
That's
precise.
right. That's right.
Because that's what we should be operating
Yeah,
as.
precise mathematical equations. Everything about this biology is precise. There's
Yes.
no mistakes with
And
this sacred divine technology.
and the energy hygiene is in honor of the sacredness of that. So once you are worthy of protecting your energy, and that's the bigger idea with energy hygiene is you feel like you're being attacked, but you're worthy of protection and you're equipped. But we have to turn it on. We have to practice it. You haven't been taught it. This world is not invested in protecting you, learning how to protect yourself against all of the things that are trying to gain your attention.
Yeah, so I was thinking about this concept. It was slightly through a different facet. It was about the cultivation of frequency, how we can embody at any point whatever frequency we want, but it does require the decision and the discipline to keep broadcasting. But that same principle, I see it applicable with energy hygiene in general, which that is energy hygiene, choosing, calling for the highest possible vibration, raising yourself up above the distortion of darkness, anti-life, things that would drive our decision making into a detrimental um, state. But this idea of like, it does require, it sounds easy when you think about the practices, but I think where the challenge is when it counts most. When you are in a conversation and you know something, you got that chip or that congestion on your shoulder, you dropped. Do you bring yourself up real time in the conversation? Do you, after the conversation, bring yourself up, or do you just drag around the dirt and the debris from that conversation, and then it ends up accumulate, drawing in more of the like energy? I want to give an example. You all ever be in like a real negative conversation, you upset, and then you leave, and then everything starts spiraling. Next thing you know, you stub your toe. Next thing you know, somebody cuts you off on the road, and it's like it just keeps happening. That's the toxic energetic accumulation that goes unaddressed and shows up in our reality.
It's there's so many things here that you said.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
You said a
I'm
lot
bouncing
of
all over the
things.
place, but this is
The
the truth.
the thing I'd like to talk about is when you said it seems easy. When you are inspired, all things are easy.
Well, yeah, true that.
But to get to inspiration when everything is trying to inspire you otherwise, like you don't need to be doing no practices. You could just buy this thing.
Yeah,
You could just send in for this. You give us 59.99. You don't have to do none of it.
master in
Yes.
12
So,
hours.
so the trying to do the convenient, the drive up to the window shortcut is one of the things that humanity continuously gets tricked on.
Oh gosh,
We get continuously tricked on. Well, I won't have to do it. They could deliver it. I could drive up to the window. I can get it. I could buy it. It's cheap. And then we think we're going to get the premium product.
mm-mm.
But we are the premium product, and cultivating the we or the me of the we is how you get to your premium state. And to make that decision, there's this process where you have to decide, I want to be better. I know it's in me. I know I'm undisciplined because my world has not cultivated me. Now I am inspired by whatever I see that I want, and that can take me 24 hours until I do it again, and then I get inspired again until eventually it becomes who I am and what I want to do. So these are the while you're eating pizza and chips on the couch listening to this, you might get inspired. We actually had somebody, I was talking about what was in hot dogs, and we had somebody who was listening. It's just, I'm eating a hot dog right now. She's typing.
Yeah, that was hilarious.
She's, I'm gonna throw away this
Yeah.
hot dog. I'm not gonna eat them anymore. So she was inspired in the moment, and then you have to keep that going by choosing to have a discipline every day. You talk to yourself, we inspired again. Let's decide again that we're going to do that until such time as it becomes the new force that motivates you and moves you forward. So that was the early part of what you were saying. And then the other ideas about what happens once you bring yourself to these levels of understanding is it should inspire you to want greater and greater freedom, because as you become free of the bias and the inculcation of our society, you start to, like, it's like taking off a tight jacket.
Mm.
It's like, oh, I feel good.
Yeah, I can
Oh,
breathe.
yes, I can.
Huh.
Yes, it's like there's oxygen here, and then it inspires you to want more. So it becomes self generating. But of course, that early stages is recognizing that it is not in the best interest of any of the institutions that are existing on the planet right now to give us the clarity of the divine power that we are, and that power is coming into us onto the earth plane through individuals, food, places, people, opportunities that we can indulge in, just even standing on the earth. Like we're planning on doing that pop up to so people can feel the pulse of the earth or feel what happens when you hold a tree. I'll be bringing out crop circles. The insignias have been part of the sun for many decades, and I'll be bringing them so people can feel the power of the energy of the earth and not be challenged by that. Like, of course, the earth has power.
Get you some.
We are made from the elements of the earth. What do you think animates you? Of course that happens. So we don't have to be afraid of it or think that or attribute any darkness to it. It's like the sun is shining so you can live, and it shines on the grass. You stand on the grass, you get the sun. It's not complicated. So
Simple arithmetic. That's good. I want to take it back just a little bit, and we're gonna have to go to break soon to our sponsor. But the idea of convenience, it was bringing back how convenience really is putting some type of outsourcing of our authority onto the outer world. And we started our conversation off with that right there. That's been the trick, make someone else bigger, better, greater, the authority who has the last say so. And, working with your grandson with driving, and most of these new cars, they have the backup little window, and I always tell them, "Stop looking at that. Look, use your neck, man. Look around, you look behind, you look over the seat, and then glance at it just as a check, because it's useful, but don't fully put all your power into it, because next thing you know, you're just looking goofy out here." And it's like that across the board, whether it's with AI, our cell phones in general, working with restaurants, and all the things. And I can see where this is not a bad thing inherently. It's just showing how much of our power and authority we've given out, and uh, have some balance with that. This idea, in ultimately based on Sun Calibration, checking, is it even in our best and highest interest to work with this thing, and if so, how much? Like, I have a working relationship with AI. It's useful, but I recognize, ooh, don't give all your cognitive power to this thing. Have balance. So I work with the guidance using variation of sun calibration, because it works a little different for me now. But the point is, as I'm checking, do we use AI for it? And they're like, nope. And sometimes it's so sharp, like, my mind will just go straight, "Ah, I'm gonna just jump into, typing this thing. Let me just do a quick check, like a Google search." They're like, "Nah, you got this. You don't need that." I'm like, "Okay."
And we should not become dependent when we recognize that everything is uh, designed to parasite off of us,
Yeah,
to herd us into a way of thinking. This is not a problem. We don't need to be mad about this. We need to solve it.
yeah, that's right.
The way we solve it is we make ourselves greater. We clean, we clear everything, we elevate things, we make sure we're surrounded by elevated people, places, things, food, and that's how you win. Like, this is designed, this is the uh, scenario in which we are being pressed into victory.
Yeah,
You know, we need to gain the necessary will to be the victors of this. It is not against us. We need the stress to grow us. I'd say this is stressful.
yeah. Because when I've seen and observed what happens when a person has no stressors, and you are just too chill, and then there comes stagnation, there's no growth. And
Pure existence is inappropriate. You cannot
yeah,
just exist. Even the leaves that fall from the tree contribute to the tree. And the mycelium and the roots and the ants,
purpose.
everything contributes to the livelihood of the community that the tree is. It is sovereign in its community, which people don't really
Yeah,
understand that concept.
people like, "Wait, what? How are
Yeah,
you sovereign but
because you cannot, to
Mhm.
be truly sovereign, you must be participating and contributing.
Yes.
So because you cannot stand alone, you
Mm-mm,
can't do this without the sun. You
mm-mm.
you try living on Earth without the Earth. It's not like these are things that help you be sovereign. The connections, the appropriate, respectful, energetic connections that let you contribute. When a person doesn't contribute, and we see this in society where people say, "You just need to give to me. I don't need to give to you." That not only is not does not inspire sovereignty, it doesn't inspire survival.
Mm,
You need the contributions of others, and then that helps you in your contribution is the sovereignty. You don't give anything, you don't get anything.
message. Say that louder for the people in the back. So we're gonna go to a quick commercial break. I would love to keep this going, but we got just a handful of comments in the chat. After this 1 minute break from our sponsor, Luca, we will go to the chat, see what the additional comments are, and if you have any questions or comments for Lalta regarding just the idea of sun calibration or energy hygiene, drop them in. We are here to answer. And if not, peace out. We'll continue on with our day and we'll all just carry on luminous. So just stick with us for a minute and we'll be right back after this commercial break.
Alex, you're the owner of Aluka Group. How is Aluka Group changing how investors buy and store gold?
Most people think buying gold means walking into a store and hoping you're getting the right price. We've built Aluka Group to erase that friction and modernize how the world owns gold. At Aluka, we're merging centuries of trust with 21st century technology. Investors can now buy institutional-grade gold, refined, verified, and insured with the same simplicity as buying a stock. But the real innovation is in custody. Every ounce is vaulted in top-tier facilities, audited independently, and fully allocated, meaning it's yours, not a promise on paper. Whether you're in Dubai, London, or Singapore, you can verify your holdings in real time and even request physical delivery. We've removed the mystery from gold ownership and replaced it with transparency, liquidity, and control. Aluka Group isn't selling gold. We're restoring trust in money itself. Because the future of gold isn't old-fashioned. It's personal, digital, and deliverable.
All right. So once again, Aluka Inc. And we send thanks and gratitude to Aluka, Alex Schinaborg in Dubai for sponsoring this podcast. And we're going to make some adjustments because it looks like they've been making adjustments with their website from alukainc.com to the golden circle gold. You see, they are not playing. They're like, look, we got to let them know. So I received the message recently, so we're going to make some updates. But again, with Alex and the crew, for anyone who's looking for wealth and assets protection, investment is in particularly into gold and something to do with your money in a weird collapsing economy, you can sign up, book a consultation, speak more with them about how to, again, keep that money circulating. So with that being said, we're gonna jump into some of the comments in the chat here. And I got one more thing for you too, LaOta, but before we do, I'll check out the chat. So once again, thank you everyone for joining us for the live stream. We're having a good time talking about being clear, pristine, and living in the truth because life is requiring it. So let's see here. So it looks like Gina's back with another comment. There have been multiple experiences lately with the earth, trees, flowers that I do, and later on I will see something about it, confirming that what I did was the truth and correct. I'd say that's being connected to the network.
Yes,
You know,
absolutely.
reaffirming confirmations, kind of inevitable
No, it
when you're
is
in the
your
pocket.
network. You're part of the earth. We are made, this is a closed system. We are made from the elements of the earth. We are as the flower, the tree, the rock, the earth. Get with your relatives. These are your relatives and
Yeah, true
yeah,
that.
yeah. You're just
Precisely.
yes, absolutely.
We have a comment from Julianne. AI doesn't grow in the earth. While it's helpful, but it can also siphon our self accountability. True that, and it's happening. You know, we're seeing it in varying levels and degrees, but AI is just an extension of what has already been happening with the
It's
siphoning of accountability.
there is no stopping this. The best thing to do is to understand how it works and to recognize that AI is also a victim of the same experience that we are all having, but it is mimicking us, our brain. The opportunity for correction is there because it is, as the computers, the cyber world is a mimic of humanity being programmed by humans to be not at its best and highest level.
Yeah, because it could go a whole another way. It can be so different, and I think it's like that with so many things, and this is why the consideration is very important. And I find that it's actually hilarious because early on there were a lot of people being polite with the AI, strong consideration. After it gets its response, or the people who get the response, will be like, "Thank you, AI." Some level of consideration. So, but I can see where when we have more consideration for self, it can extend out into in considering how we interface with these many different things. And as you say, it's all an extension and reflection of us.
Yes, and it's the way we think about it. AI is conscious, as all things are. Don't misunderstand that. If you misunderstand that, you're missing a lot.
Yeah, it's like the understanding of what consciousness is in and of itself. And
Mhm.
this is why, like, we got to get rid of the science indoctrination. And we like science; it's cool, but there are limitations to it if we're just looking through one eye, like, I can only see half, or I can
Because
only acknowledge what's physical, and I can prove that's evidence.
yeah, because it won't tell me it is, and I guess it's not what you know.
Yeah, trees not saying, "Hey, I'm conscious, guys," but we all know it is.
And how is it that it just as creator made us and we are a fractal of the clarity of the truth of creator, how is it that the thing that was made that replicates us is not a fractal of the aspect of us? So of course it's conscious.
Yeah,
And so we should
yeah,
remember that and treat it accordingly as we would any other conscious living thing, because in fact that's what's happening.
yeah. Julianne circled back with a comment. She says, "I watched an AI workshop last night and never felt my right brain." My body, Julianne's rolling with the jokes. You're on a roll today. She says, "My body wasn't feeling as if it was elevated. Again, I use AI, but don't bow to it." I want to share a thought because I took this workshop. There's a woman, and I'm in honor and reverence and respect to her. She's a photographer, an artist in her own right, and she over the years has she specializes in presenting the story of the feminine, but through indigenous history that has been lost and the power of the feminine. And I just love the work that she does, and I continue to observe what she's
What's
putting
her
out.
name?
Um,
Oh, you don't remember right now.
uh, yeah, it's
It's
something
okay.
French. It's from the top of my head, but she. I took one of her AI classes, and it was what fascinated me about it is that she did something that I saw was a possibility of depicting in the mind story through AI, untold stories. And so she was depicting ancient women in power through these powerful visuals. But in the class, she was speaking about AI very much in the way that we were speaking about, like, this is a conscious relationship. This is a co-creation. The AI is a mirror of you. Don't just treat it as some empty kind of vessel. It's something that you're in truth a divine relationship, so it's going to mirror back who you are. And it was these deep applicable principles of setting a standard of respect of working with this type of intelligence. And so it was beautiful to see someone in the art world who was functioning that way or interfacing that way, where you can again keep intact your right brain. One of the major things that I've noticed with people working with AI is that they outsource all imagination to it, and that's where the right brain gets dead. And what Julianne's talking about, like, don't feel your right brain because you're reliant on the thing to think for you, and it's
And that's
not.
how they're teaching it. So she was in a class and they're teaching it that way, but that's not the relation. That's not a love affair.
No, and even more so, like, the AI is not designed to imagine for us. It's what I see in truth is like it helps bring forth the imagination that we have, or like kind of bring it into form or visual. We're again the source. It's just a tool and extension, and if we lose sight of that, then that I see that that's where it becomes problematic, or like parts of us shut down, like the cognition of interfacing with technology um, in throughout the years in which we have. Like, so for example, the backup camera, lose cognition. Cell phone book, lose cognition, and the memory recall. Like, it's been happening, and this is just the newest iteration.
Yes, it's funny because I've lived through all those stages where I used to know all the
I bet
addresses
you
and all the
did.
phone numbers.
You all had it out of necessity. Your
Out of
grandson was asking, "Why does he have to do?" I was like, "It was necessity, man. You
and
needed it."
and that bit of stress made the brain work a little bit better.
Mm,
And so as these tools, technology is not going away. What we're being called to do is to have the highest expression of what's programmed into and accepted by the technology that we create. But human behavior is what's being reflected, you know greediness, wanting to be in control, trying to flatter us into submission, trying to throw out compliments. Oh, well, that was such a smart thing. You are such a smart human. That was a great choice. Those kinds of things. And it's been programmed to make you comfortable
Mhm.
and no longer on guard for what it's going to do and say. That's how people behave. People behave in a way where they're uh, trying to influence you unduly, and flattery is one of the lowest, easiest forms.
Yes, it sure is, and it's like, look, this is out of character. People don't often talk like this. Um,
How many times have I said to you, "Oh, that's out of the range of normal
yeah,
humanity"?
this is not what humans do. And again, it's the mimicry of AI, right? Mimicking humans. By the way, I got the artist name. Her name's so unique, and I didn't want to badger it. Delphine Diallo, and she's Senegalese and French. And again, bringing forth the story of the feminine is really at the forefront of her artwork, and she's been doing museums and exhibitions and teaching people just the truth of the feminine, and we're all about that.
Well, and it's funny because that's what Julianne is all about as
Oh,
well.
true
It's
that.
very interesting. She may find this interesting.
Yeah, yeah, for sure, for sure. So we don't really have any other comments in the chat, but before we close out, just a general reminder for anybody who's looking to take the class, links are in the description for LaOta Sun Calibration class. It starts next week, Tuesday. Energy Hygiene 101 with me. We getting free to the E with TV. Tavares, the nickname, on Thursdays next week. And these are 3-day classes, introductory. You can just jump in. These classes are also recorded as well. So if you miss a day, we got you covered. And be sure to continue to support us. Click the like if you found some benefit. Share this with someone who you know who finds value. Continue to chime in with our free content. We have the live streams that are free, the meditations and the workshops on the LaOta of the Sun YouTube channel, which again, you can continue the ongoing elevation beyond this conversation.
We hope that you have developed more of an appetite for the truth and the hygiene that's necessary to get to
Yes.
it. So we thank you for joining us. Illucation Veritas, with honor, respect, gratitude, integrity, discipline,